Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Smackdown review. What a boring throwaway show this was. Nothing accomplished or anything. We start off with Brian and Shane in the ring. They're arguing about what happened at Clash of Champions. You'd expect something big to happen, a big blow up or something like that. Tensions would be running high. There's talk of maybe Shane versus Bryan at WrestleMania, which I would like to see. If Bryan is going to make an in-ring return, that could be an exciting match to look forward to at WrestleMania. There could be some, interesting build up, and they had a chance to do that right here. It's kind of like what I always say: what are they waiting for? They don't like to pull the trigger on anything. It's just tease, tease, tease. But if you notice, they tease and they hardly ever deliver on anything. So they could throw a tease out there. I mean, how many teases have we had? Remember Shawn Michaels and Daniel Bryan? There was a tease there. Nothing came of it. I mean, they're always teasing shit, but never following through. So, Shane says he wanted to do what was best for business, but he cut himself short. Brian said, he had to fight against that type of mentality. He said, if you're going to fire somebody, he said, fire me. But Shane just kind of left the ring. And, like what was really done there from a storyline standpoint? What was progressed? Did anything move forward? No. um, Gable and Benjamin defeated the Usos. This is another thing. Like, you could kind of see they want to do something with Shelton and Gable. This was a way of getting them over at the pay-per-view. If they wanted to get them, they didn't even have to pin the Usos. They could have pinned anybody else. But they beat the Usos here. And so they're going back to this. A couple of months ago, they have them win a number one contenders match. I mean, like, when are they going to just pull the trigger? It's the same thing with Braun Strowman. It's like, if the guys are over, well, Gable and Shelton Benjamin are not truly over. Benjamin shouldn't even be wasting his time he's already done everything he can with tag teams already. Just like how they say this is American Alpha 2.0, it's also World's Greatest Tag Team 2.0. When Shelton Benjamin left the WWE, he was a singles wrestler. They called him the gold standard. And, he was like U.S. champion and all this. What happened to that? This guy, he knows how to work in the ring better and safer. And he knows how to do all them stunts 10 times safer than half of these motherfuckers out there. So why is Shelton Benjamin? You look at guys like Owens and Zayn in the main event. Why is a guy not like Shelton Benjamin? Why is he not up there in the upper echelons? Why is he not wrestling for the U.S. title or the world title? This would be the chance. Back then when Shelton was wrestling like a decade ago, I kind of understood why he wasn't in the main event. There was a lot of guys there. Orton, Batista, Cena. There was always things working against him. Triple H, there was a crowded field of wrestlers. Shawn Michaels was active at the time when he was on Raw. Edge, you had Kane, all these Undertaker, all these guys. So it was kind of, understandable that Shelton was never a world champion and couldn't really get to the top. But now most of those guys are gone. And there is a clear pathway for somebody like a Shelton Benjamin to step up and, get to where he couldn't get a couple of years ago because of, it being a bit crowded on the roster. Charlotte and Naomi defeated the Riot Squad. They want to bring in this new team, and they just beat them just like that. Naomi announced she's going to be in the Royal Rumble. You guys already know how I feel about the Royal Rumble. Go check my video out. I don't want a women's Royal Rumble. And also in my Raw review, I go on an extensive rant, and I'm not going to do that here. But the Riot Squad, they want to take these green as grass motherfuckers and put them out there. And, they're horrible. They're not entertaining. They're not good on the mic. throwing them out there, and they just want to beat them like that. If you're going to bring in this new team and you're calling them the Riot Squad, and they're there to cause trouble and stuff, and like inflict pain on the roster and be big heels, why are you just throwing them out there just to beat them? I'm not really understanding the whole point of why we brought them in, just to beat them just like that, like night after night. The New Day was prancing around backstage. They're all dressed up in Christmas outfits. Kofi Kingston was a gingerbread man. You had Xavier Woods in a Christmas outfit. Big E was dressed as an elf. I don't remember exactly what Xavier was dressed up as. Then we see, what's the deal with the fucking pancakes? Can I say that? Like, what is the point of this joke? Oh, we're weird. Oh, this has been going on for far too long. I mean, enough is enough already. They don't want to break these guys up. They're scared they're going to lose merchandise sales. Who cares? Like, you realize if you elevated your ratings that your merchandise sales would increase. And first of all, any person above the age of 10 who is buying any New Day merchandise, I just hand in your nutsack right now. I'm being honest here. Hand in your testicles, hand in your penis, hand in your manlyhood. I mean, if you're one of these people that bought the dildo on the forehead, the unicorn horn, if you spent $20 on a box of cereal, I mean, come on already, people. What the hell is wrong with you? New Day rocks. They don't rock. Okay, they're getting tiresome already. It's the same shtick. Okay, so I could do this rant 1,000 times, and I have done it 1,000 times already. So, they confront Rusev. He's dressed as Santa Claus. Aiden English is dressed as a snowman. They're cheering these guys on, and okay, you know what? Rusev takes a bite of a pancake, throws it on the floor, steps on it. Did they not just do the same exact thing on Halloween, but instead with candy? This time it's pancakes. On Christmas. What does even Christmas have to do with pancakes? Hey, look what you're doing. You're making me actually analyze this shit. Well, what the hell? I'm a 30-year-old man analyzing why the fuck Rusev stepped on a pancake on Christmas. I can't take it anymore. I'm leaving. I've had it up to here with this company, and I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet with this show. But I really want to leave here because I'm analyzing pancakes on Christmas and why wrestlers are dressed up as snowmen and Santa Claus. Are we really discussing this? Has it really come to this point? Ziggler cut a promo in the ring. He left the U.S. title. He said, this is something to remember me by. He talked about how nobody thought he belonged in the... I don't know where they're going with Ziggler. I feel they're just playing this by ear. And they're not really getting much of a reaction out of it from the crowd. So this is a bad idea. From the moment he walked out there, I mean, what are they doing? He's making fun of people that have extravagant entrances. So what does he do? He gives himself a boring entrance. They do something with taking the needle off a record, and he comes out in silence. They had Bobby Roode best him in a series of matches. They have him disappear for a couple of weeks. Comes back, he's randomly inserted into a title match at Clash of Champions. Comes back, wins the U.S. title out of nowhere. And Ziggler addressed that in the promo. But I have to ask is, like, what are they doing here? So now he leaves the U.S. title. Is he forfeiting it? Is he making a point? Is he going to walk right back out there next week with the U.S. title? Or is he going to take another 2 weeks off and then end up just coming out with the belt like nothing happened. I mean, you know, the thing is, why I'm coming up with these ideas is because this is what they've been doing. They've tried to change Ziggler's character so many times, make him aggressive, make him get angry more, and he's been doing that. He's been doing everything that they've been telling him to do. And so, he's been complaining, which, yes, I always say this, if you're going to be in a big company like WWE, there's no other game in town. You really shouldn't be complaining. Just be happy to be there, but the thing is, when you try so hard and you are above average like Ziggler, I can see why that might be a bit frustrating, especially when you have goofs like Fuckboy Balor and, Hideo Idiocracy over there, just like getting attention, and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, for God's sakes. So you can kind of see that. So I don't know where they're going with this. Owens and Zayn backstage try to suck up to Bryan. They give him a bottle of champagne. Bryan says he doesn't drink. And he says, he didn't do what he did as doing them a favor. He said he did it for the Smackdown fans. And if they don't stop smiling, he's going to fire them himself. I don't really see also like where they're kind of going with this. They do this whole thing at the pay-per-view. They can make it interesting. Maybe Bryan is siding with them, but any form of like anything interesting or compelling, it's just thrown out the window for bland and boring. It's like after the segment, you're like, you're not like getting behind Bryan even as a face. You're just saying like, what a boring segment that was, where nothing really happened. So they did all that at the pay-per-view, and Zayn and Owens' jobs are still solidified. They're not going anywhere. It's like, what was even the point of having that match at the pay-per-view? They didn't even really do anything that it really even needed to happen. New Day defeated Rusev and Aiden English. So, the whole crowd is cheering for them at the pay-per-view. They're getting behind these guys. They're giving these guys TV time to do their shtick. And they just have, so what do they follow up the pay-per-view performance with? Aiden English getting a face full of pie. And the thing is, are we still doing pie jokes at the turn of 2017 into 2018? Are we still resorting back to pie jokes that were done by Doink the Clown in 1994 and 5? Are we really going back to that shit? I mean, and they've been doing a lot of pie jokes since the PG era. I don't know what it is, what people find funny about stuffing a person's face in pie. I mean, it's really kind of disgusting. It's not even funny. And like, oh, have a sense of humor. I don't even think that even the most diehard goofball, goofy maloofy fans out there could even get behind a joke like a gag, like a fucking pie in the face. I mean, that's about as unfunny and unoriginal as it gets. I mean, that's very generic. That's a very generic form of comedy. And the fact that they do it in so often, they do that same joke, that same little ploy time and time again. I mean, come on already. I mean, oh God. And so they just beat him here. So, you've got this tough guy like Rusev. He's dressed up as Santa. They're trying to get these guys over. Why are they dressed in costumes even? It's like, first of all, what is wrong with New Day? Like, are they retarded? Are they autistic in some way that they dress this way? When they're like in their fucking 30s, is there like a problem with these people? I think there have to be. How can you be adult watching this show and not asking yourself, why are they dressing and acting like they're fucking 13 or 10 years old even? Orton and Nakamurphy and Styles defeated Jinder Mahal, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. So, everybody, that they placed prominently at the pay-per-view is just losing here clean. Just nothing. And the thing is, there was nothing like even leading up to this match. They showed nothing backstage, nothing in the ring, no promos from Orton, AJ, Jinder, who was looking good, looking like he was just about to win at the pay-per-view. Zayn is the winner against all odds, and Zayn just gets pinned here. I really have to ask, guys, like, where the fuck is this company even going? Oh, we're going places. We have a women's Royal Rumble. Really? Like, do we even know what's going to happen? There's talk of Naka Murphy winning the Royal Rumble and going on to face AJ Styles. They might have that match, but that match is not going on last at WrestleMania. Mark my words, replay this segment here in this video over and over when that moment comes in 2018. When was it? WrestleMania 34, is it? Comes out, and that event is there. You will see that they might have that match, and Naka Murphy very well might win the Royal Rumble, but he is not going on in the last match. That is going to be reserved for somebody else. Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, somebody else is definitely going to get that spot. So, is that what we have to look forward to at the Royal Rumble? Is Naka Murphy? A guy that clearly, you see that it depends on the arena. Some people will sing along with his song, and some people could give a fuck less. And, I think mostly it's the latter for a lot of people. Naka Murphy, it depends on how smarky the crowd is. If it's some crowd in the Midwest, they're not really caring so much about him. If it's a PA crowd or something like that, then yeah, the people are probably going to sing along. But, it really depends on the crowd. And that they're not going to really rely on that so much, So, like, they might just go along with the smarks. They've been listening to the internet. But, as much as they listen to the internet and they listen to the smarks and the YWC and the IWC, still, when it comes around WrestleMania time, you always notice that they're going to do what they want anyway, because they're interested in getting in the casuals for WrestleMania. They're not committed to the end because they know this is WrestleMania. So you guys might get your way half the year, most of the year, but not at Mania. And that was proven, this year when you didn't really have a lot of these guys, Sami Zayn and everything on the card. They didn't make it onto the show. And, and with good reason. They even had Samoa Joe, and they didn't even find the match. And what went on last? Roman Reigns and Undertaker. Because that was the match that everybody cared about. Orton was still in the title match. These are the things that, that happen at Mania. It's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. Because, at the end of the day, I'm going to get my smarky ways. It's not that way. It doesn't play out that way usually. So, yeah, go ahead. Bring on Naka Murphy as the Royal Rumble winner. See how well that goes over. All right, guys. This has been your YWC champ signing out.